he will speak from there, and going forward, we can speak from our respective seats, especially on the high table. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me say members of the high table participant, what champions that are in the room. I'm glad to be here. I brought a written speech that I will take over to the Secretariat as our official position. I think the level of interaction that we had this morning with the minister and all of the sector represent a clear picture that we as a policy advocating arm of the government through the legislation are very concerned, and we will do everything possible on our colossal responsibility to ensure that government take the necessary actions and drives that will move this sector forward. We want to thank the civil society and thank all of the actors here. We need to be statistical because I think the world is moving in that direction. We need to make sure that we are futuristic. Those things we want to do have to be clear so that when we're at the level of the forum and bigger forum, our statistics will inform the opinions of those who want to help us. So on this note, today is Thursday, we have the meeting section. I have to run after a few minutes to make sure I represent you at different levels. But I think with the willingness of the Minister of Finance, now that when we start the budget debate, we agree with me that we all might be on the same page. And I'm glad that this interaction will help us. Our donor, we want to say thank you. Let's keep working on until we get the bigger government involved. Even the biggest stakeholder meeting, there's nothing wrong having the president of Liberia involved, where he can come and spend a few minutes like the minister has done, so that we all can actively engage into know our role as we go forward is to ensure that those laws that are overlapping within the research as a purpose to ensure that what water and sewer is doing should be different from what the market sector is doing. That harmony should take place so that the law becomes enforceable. And then resources are properly, placed where it's supposed to be placed. With that said, I want to say thank you, and going forward, we remain very active in the life of the water and sanitation of Liberia. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Chair, for a very fascinating remark. We'll call on the Country Director of Water Aid to give a brief remark as well. Mr. Chuchu-san.
Thank you very much. So I stand on the existing protocols. Quickly, I just want to briefly touch on some of the things that I've heard this morning from the minister's speech and also the two presentations, and also some discussion in the room. One thing I want to emphasize, as I've always done, is the need for us to continue with advocacy in West Finance. It is true that Liberia is providing money for water and sanitation in some ministries and agencies, which happen to be fragmented. But I will ask that we don't think that it's sufficient. I can tell you, I can compare what Ghana and other places give. So for example, the way the budget works, as far as I know, is that they allocate money to the ministry in lump sum. And they don't specifically say this is for this department, like school-wise division. So sometimes the money going into the ministry is just for salaries or other costs. And basically, I think that has to change. It is good that the minister said this midterm priority for the government going forward is going to be service delivery. And if we have to do that, there are two things. Either you invest more money into service delivery by cutting down on spent on overhead and salary. And I like the scenario he gave about LEC. If we, in our own capacities at the various ministries, agencies, can start thinking about doing similar things, I think we will start solving our own problems instead of waiting for somebody to solve it for us. Thirdly, we have to have a balance between regulations and service delivery. Now for water aid, you can't say, I will enforce it that a child going to school will not eat if he or she doesn't wash their hands. Now, if there's no water, how do you do that? So how can you as a regulatory agency say you are enforcing things and closing schools down if the school or the Ministry of Education don't even have money to provide the services? So it's something we need to balance so that as we think about regulating, we should think about providing support for those services to be there. And lastly, I think what we discussed with the ministry, most of our discussion here should be also tailored to what next actions we have to take so that we engage beyond the wide sector in this room and move to the next step where some of these problems, instead of talking just about problems, we need to think about how to resolve them. And I think the next engagement will lead to that. Thank you very much. That's my initial.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I can see we are now energized. Can we do a very good round of applause for our partner? Very well, very well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll call also on the country director of what Congo have, Mr. Herbert Charles, who will make his remarks as well. And it's important to know that Mr. Charles is just recently coming to the country, right? Welcome, sir.
Yes, I have recently come in, but I've just been to the whole of the Southeast. I was with the President and the Finance Minister. And we're building a 60-bedroom hospital in Bedroom that was commissioned by the President. I was there with him. We're building another one in Liberia, which we hope the President will commission in June, July. On water, we're also doing a lot in water, and but mostly in the Southeast. That's where we invest quite a lot. Because when we did our original survey, we found out that the Southeast is disproportionately affected by all known vices. And therefore we decided as a strategy to invest strategically in that. It's very tiring because of the road network, but at least that's the justification for us. For Montserrat, in the recent past, we have supported the health facilities and communities with wash interventions and water in particular. We are looking at this strategy again, and we'll try to see how we can support the Water Commission and the Wash Commission in increasing access to water, increasing access to sanitation and hygiene, especially with COVID, the COVID situation. We invested quite a lot in the Southeast in terms of COVID awareness and preparedness, because that's where our interest is. But with this forum, with what we're looking at and working in a partnership, we intend to make some more contribution and investments in Montserrat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will invite the Office of the Ministry of State, and representing the Office of the Ministry of State is Mr. Gamonde Clinton. He's the Senior Policy Advisor to the Ministry of State.
Chairman Wilfield, distinguished partners, Minister McGill asked me to convey his greetings and to inform you that he had an emergency, so he couldn't be here. We were about to be here. We followed the discussions. I'm particularly impressed by the commitment of the Minister of Finance. You know well that we all started WASH. I was there with you for about a year, and I understand the challenges of the sector. One thing I know that the sector needs more than anything is political will. And at the level of the presidency, this is what we have. So I will convey to Minister McGill some of the challenges and some of the things that I have gathered here, and based on my own experience, and we will elevate WASH at the level of the presidency to have that political will to drive things. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter. Yeah. So we have our MAX partners, specifically the Ministry of Health, and representing the Minister of Health. All right, is Mr. Gobley Logan, Minister Gobley Logan, Assistant Minister. He's representing the Minister of Health. We have the pleasing honor to invite you on the floor to make few remarks. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Well, very happy to be here. I'm Dr. Bobby Logan, the Assistant Minister for Community Service and Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Republic of Liberia. So if most of you know Dr. Kete, I'm his direct deputy. However, I'm here representing the Minister of Health. We would have loved to be here, Dr. Wilhelmina Jala, but because of other pressing national engagement, she asked me to come and represent her. Well, quite frankly, to our brothers in the WASH sector, I must appreciate you. You are actually doing a lot. Considering in this short period of time, taking over the sector and see the kind of effort that you guys are making, I think if you really have the support, you can do a lot. We also want to appreciate our government for its commitment to WASH, supporting WASH in Liberia, as you heard from the Minister of Finance. Considering we have about 83% of our population that lack access to improved sanitation, and then about 17% that lack access to improve drinking water source, according to the Demographic and Health Survey 2013. You realize that to be able to achieve improving on these numbers, the approach will have to be multi-sectoral, or let's say intersectoral. So from the Ministry of Health, we will appreciate if we can strengthen intersectoral collaboration for WASH in Liberia. That is very key. We have a part to play, you have a part to play, agriculture, so many other people have their role to play. But then that role should be very clear for everyone to know moving forward. And one of the ways to make it simple for everyone, it has to do with provision of an updated essential package for WASH services in Liberia. If we can all get an updated essential package for WASH services in Liberia that will spell out clearly what people are doing in the WASH sector itself, and where are the cross-cutting areas that bring in other sectors on board, and looking through the lens, how do we intend to move WASH forward? That is going to help us in a long way. So to not waste most of the time, we want to say thank you so much. We are with you at any time. We are available. You can call on us so that together we can all help to move WASH forward. If your problems in WASH are not solved, now what's going to happen is that we're going to have health issues as well. And those health issues, they move from individual getting sick rather, to epidemic proportions. And I don't think we want that in our country. So we all need to work together to get the sector moving. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister, for that splendid remark. We also want to say thank you. Please convey our message to the Minister of Health for her commitment to work with the water sector. Thank you very much. This time I will be taking over briefly. So I have the pleasing honor to invite Mr. Mo Kamara for LIBDA for a brief remark.
Money again. So I also stand on the existing protocol. But before I even say what I'm supposed to say, I always like to say this in this gathering. Though I'm Kamara, but I'm not Donald Kamara. I'm not Salia Kamara. I'm just another Kamara. I know it. So that you can say, oh, but why say so Kamara? Yeah. So I bring you greetings from USAID LIBDA, Marcus, who happened to be my boss, the COP would have loved to be here, but we have a huge portfolio covering the entire country. He has oversight for other areas, finance ministry, law reform, and so forth. So he thought that being a lead on WASH, since I have oversight here, so I'm here to represent that entity. I want to say that we remain committed to supporting the work of the sector, and one of the things that we have on our plate is to make sure that we improve the sector beyond where we have it today. I've always said to people, whenever I have such an assignment, I make sure I work overtime to see results. And one of the results that I'm proud of anywhere I go is the commission. You know, started this, we drag it, the water sector was not like the way it is today, but at least today we can point to the commission. And I feel very proud that we also made a little contribution. What they say that we're doing right now. So at this point, we have about 4 key thematic areas that we're going to support the sector. And I mean, all of those thematic areas were touched. Some of the questions the finance minister asked are some of the questions we also asked, and we think that we want to work with the sector to see how we can improve them. One of the things, Honorable, we should talk about capacity. The commission is capacity challenge. We know that. And so our quick impact intervention is to assist them with in-kind support. And that will soon come on board. Meaning I'm not sure whether they have functional internet, you know, office, other things that you need in the office to make you feel comfortable to work. We don't think they have it yet, but we think the next few weeks from now, I can say that we're going to have that. And then also, we also going to work with water and sewer. I don't know whether you know this. So we are now in the process of procuring an expert that will come to work with you in structuring your tariff, because we feel that water and sewer, in as much as government is supporting you, you are also losing a lot in terms of what you're supposed to get. And the problem is because of capacity. Capacity not just that they don't have the people, but probably they don't have, you know, the technical know-how. For you to generate more revenue. So we're going to be working with you in that area to make sure that we improve your capacity in service delivery with respect to you also generating revenue. Our main partner is the commission. So I did hear you say in your presentation that you're thinking about strengthening regulation, and that is one of the key things we're going to do with you. We're already in the process of procuring an international person that's going to come to work with you to do that. But we have an objective. We strengthen the commission regulatory power, And then we also looking down the line to upgrade the commission from the level of a commission to a full ministry, which we think we have the funding. And I just heard the Honorable Captain just informed me that he's happy to hear that. I don't know how he got that information, and he's now come back that he want to see a concept note to that effect. He wanted to start running with that from the policy side. We also we talk about funding, so we are also now about probably by next week or so we should get our own people, local guys here to do a complete public sector expenditure survey. We are about to recruit a group of WASH experts in country to do that. And they're going to come up with recommendations to tell us how water and sewer need to be supported to improve service provision. And then lastly, we also going to work with civil society. We want to build civil society capacity to be able to, we know that we have a lot of civil society groups, but we think that there is also an issue of capacity there in terms of being able to really serve as a watchdog in the community, in a sector. So those are 6 different thematic areas that we are going to support the commission and the sector with. So if you want to know what we're doing, that's exactly what we're doing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kamara, for updating us with deep activities and plans for the WASH sector and the WASH Commission. At this time, I want to call Mr. Fred from City Alliance, one of our great partners in the sector, for a brief remark.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara, and I would say good afternoon, and also I would say also because so I stand here to represent Cities Alliance, and I'm very sure most of you might not have heard about Cities Alliance. Like Cities Alliance has been in country since 2014, and I've been working with the municipalities. Recently, we have taken key active interest in the provision of water to the informal and slum areas. And we believe that there's been tremendous neglect in this area, even though they are right in the cities. And that has been one of our focus. Working with also Habitat for Humanity, Matthew here, who is one of our partners that work with us. We have been actively involved in the water provision area. Currently, we have built almost around more than 60 water kiosks in these very hard to reach areas. Water Aid also came on board, and we've been working directly with LWSC on this. So I am happy to see that we are giving more emphasis on provision of pipe-borne water, and that is the way forward, I believe. We all know that the groundwater condition in Liberia is something that we all know about, highly polluted. And to be able to treat that water requires significant maintenance regime and to also secure individuals' health. And that is why it is important that we need to look at the shift towards investing more in the pipe-borne water. And that means that LWSC operations should be a key area we need to look at. And over the period, I think we have not paid much attention to LWSC in terms of support from donor partners. And for us, we want to re-echo this position that we should be looking at increasing support to LWSC. They have the expertise, they have the men. I think the minister said that we need to improve on our data, because data is what drives the discussion nowadays. And therefore, that will also support us in the discussion. We recently had a discussion with the West Commissioner when the 16 and the 36 got this problem. And basically, we were not happy that our investment that we have done in the provision of the water points and building a lot of water kiosks in these areas that have been connected to the main source cannot receive this water. Then that is a concern to us. And that is what initiated the discussion to have this high-level stakeholder conversation. To re-echo the importance of making sure that the corporation is duly supported. Having said that, the UK government, as you can see, UK Aid is supporting us through a COVID initiative. It's providing some operational support to LWSC in provision of operational tools and pipes. We also believe that the non-revenue aspect of LWSC can be also, we can contribute to that by providing this kind of support in this area. So they can respond. There's a lot of pipes that are bursting day in and day out, and that is a significant loss to the Commission. And I'm happy that the UK government has seen the need that we should support this area. And we're going to almost around 300,000 worth of provision of items, chemicals, pipes, and some further provision of the water kiosks that we are building in how to reach areas. And like the minister said, we can all see the minister from this forum has made certain commitments. I will want to refer to the directors. This is a challenge to you. We all call from the donor partners have seen the willingness of the minister and the need of for you as an agency to lead the way. And once you lead in the way, you can be assured that the donor community will be behind to support you in this regard. So from Cities Alliance, I want to say that this is a good start. And I think the minister said we need a full one-day session. I don't think that should be for me and what I teach you to be pushing that agenda to happen again. So we expect to see you driving this next forum and telling them that this is what you really want to do. So from my end, I will say thank you for coming, and I will be doing more of the engagement in the second section. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I was out, but I heard that there was not sufficient of applause for all those that spoke. Can you please do a very good round of applause? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can we just stand a little bit and put some bit of energy in ourselves so that we get relief of the stress before? Yeah, it's 30 minutes from now. About 25 minutes, because when I'm out there, they said 30 minutes, so it's just 25 minutes to go for lunch. So we'll finish the 25 minutes. Can you just stand a little bit and just shake yourself up a little bit so that you can get stress-free. Yeah, get stress-free. So we'll spend the rest of the few minutes. So yeah, you can say if you're okay. The last few minutes, we use that to get all the remarks, and then we'll go for a lunch. By the time we come back, we'll go into the detail, and then we are off. So we got a couple of remarks about 3 persons. So we'll call on Mr. Henry Harris. He's the program manager of World Hope International. We'll call him to make brief remarks. Please, let's stay within about 2 to 3 minutes bracket, not more than that. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's on the system for the goals. So we will, Mark, thank you for this time. We bring you greetings from Waro. And our country director would have loved to be here when we turn the calling. We have our CEO in the country. We come to the airport this morning. So asked me to come and just bring a few words. Maybe you would like to know what I'm doing now. Currently, we from Waro. We are providing and implementing modeling technology in Peace Island. With Capital International, we are building some facilities, wash facilities, called BEST, Biodigester Eco Sanitation Toilet, that we're going to use the ferret and feces to develop gas and use boiled water in the several bathrooms in Peace Island. We are also building a bio-filtration toilet, and we have renovated 2 existing toilets to bio-filtration toilets. And we've provided water towers as well, and with chaos, then built by City Alliance, our partners. And we're going to be distributing the water to the communities through chaos system. So from what we want to say, we want to applaud the National Water Commissioner. We work along with you, whatever way you want us to do. We are willing to be able to partner with you to work. What do we have to work with? We can conduct geophysics survey. We have the instrument here in country to tell you can find water here or you can't find water here. Evidence was your request went to right here communities. We did a survey and told you cannot find water, which of course we advise you to not do any borehole because we have been lost. So we have those instruments in country. Whenever you want us to do anything, just call on us. At World, we are willing to support you and to come around to give us the help. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So discovering water sources, World Hope International is ready to provide that leeway. So we have Habitat for Humanity, Mr. Matthew Knowles. We're asking to make 2 minutes or 3 minutes of remarks as well.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. All protocols observed. I just want to start by correcting my name, Matthew Dotte.
Oh, don't carry.
Yeah, and it's a privilege to be here. Thank you very much, Wash Commission team, for coordinating this and the partners that supported this initiative. What we realize is that need for a comprehensive approach of this sector. We don't only see it as wash only because it connects with very many other sectors. And I'm glad to see health here. I hope education is represented and all the other relevant institutions that are on WASH. Habitat for Humanity, as mentioned earlier, is part of the Liberia country program that's led by Cities Alliance. We are part of the Cities Alliance family, and our work here commenced in 2016 with intensive understanding of the context, and from there we started developing solutions based on the context. We didn't want to copy and paste. And our work cuts through 3 main layers. First is we do have interventions that are related to policy and enabling environment. We've done that in the past, and most of your various institutions must have been involved in various consultations that led to the development of the relocation guidelines finalized last year. Then we've also interventions that cut across the market sector, private sector. Most often, public sector interventions and international development interventions are not likely going to be sustained without a private sector engagement. Therefore, we have some work that we do through the private sector. Also, at community level, a lot of our work is mainly what Henry is mentioning, community level intervention. And at the moment, we are pilot testing a lot of innovations. One of the innovations that we are piloted, we have decided to implement in one community and showcase some of these innovations. One of that is a technology, 2 technologies that reduce groundwater pollution. We've just talked about just in the level of
pollution of the groundwater. And those technologies promote usage of biogas technology and biofiltration technology. And if this gets adopted, then you stand up, if they work well, we can start promoting them to reduce the usage of the common septic tank. We know the problem with the common septic tanks. We've seen the septic tanks in Water, how people go and bust them because you cannot get these launching services. And you go back to the same problem of water pollution. So we are building some toilets in Peace Island, public toilets, renovating the ones that existed there. And we are fitting them with these two technologies to demonstrate, first of all, to reduce the emission of gas in the environment, but also to reduce pollution of water bodies. The next thing that we are doing, we're also supporting through our partner, World Health International. We also supported the establishment of our water system. And with the consultation and support of Water and Sewer, Mr. Coleman is always with us. We have established a standalone water system in Peace Island. Drilled 2 boreholes, pumped the water into a tower, and this is going to be distributed to various water points. We have some partners like Cities Alliance that have complemented our effort with water kiosks, and this project is likely going to be dedicated before the end of this month. The other intervention that we are involved or we are supporting is related to solid waste management. And last year, 2019, we worked with the MCC to establish a whole complete value chain for solid waste with a community-based enterprise covering the primary level and with the municipality, the city, Monrovia City Corporation covering the waste removal. And that has been a great success for us. What we see moving forward is one, the power of technology. We need to cherish that in the sector by adopting some of these innovations. And we have recently been having conversations with WaterAid on possibility of bringing some other innovative technologies to add on these and test them and see what works best for the people. The other thing is which is very important, is we're talking a lot about water and people not having sufficient safe drinking water, even some not having access, especially during the dry season. Yet Liberia, Monrovia alone is receiving over 500 milliliters of intensity of rainfall. And all that goes into the ocean and to the water bodies. Why are we not harvesting rainwater, treating it, and making it available? Which one is cheaper? Harvesting rainwater or digging borehole, which would cost $5,000-$6,000? I think these are some of the things that we want to question ourselves so that we can provide solutions to health facilities, schools, and other institutions. The other issue that we see is the challenge related to sustainability and building the capacity of the entities or communities that we serve to be able to manage their water facilities more efficiently. And the model that we have adopted and piloted successfully is the community-based enterprise model. We have realized that completing a water facility or a sanitation facility and turning it over to a community management committee has not worked for more than 40 years. Why are we still doing it now? Yet, an individual owner of a borehole next to your residence has been running that borehole for the last 10, 20 years. What is the difference? Can we consider what works and abandon what doesn't work? To conclude, you will all be invited, most of you will be invited in a short while once we finalize on the dates for dedication of the Peace Island. But you're also invited to join us every Wednesday for a walkthrough in Peace Island to see the work that we're doing and provide your inputs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Matthew.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so we have 2 remarks, and one is going to come from civil society, and one is going to come from the PCC. But as tradition dictates, the civil society is going to be the last because it's almost like a reporter and respond to a number of things. Civil society, we're going to give civil society about 6 minutes because there are lots of different government, international actors that have spoken, and it's going to be one civil society that is going to speak. So to cover for or to compensate for the time, I mean to give civil society fair, platform, we'll give 6 minutes to civil society. So we will call on the public relations manager of the PCC. Yeah, thank you. PCC is the Painesville City Corporation. That's the city government of Painesville.
Good afternoon, all. It's a pleasure to be here. Point of correction, I'm not the public relations officer. I am the special projects director. I stand on behalf of Mayor Taylor, who wanted to be here but could not be here today due to some other appointment. But we are, like I said, we are highly delighted and impressed and pleased to be a part of the development and growth of Mama Liberia. And we are always willing to work with all our partners, all implementing partners, to ensure that development and growth can be given at a sustainable rate. Thanks to WASH Commission, and we look forward to working with you for the implementation of this project. And also our other partners, City Alliance, Water Aid. Like we said, we all know water is life, so we look forward to the implementation of this project. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much,
Stephen Kai Jr.
Stephen Kai Jr. Thank you. So brace yourself for a civil society statement, after which we all walk out and have a very good lunch. It's good that we're going to get the civil society statement just at the meaning of our going to lunch. So wherever you can compensate for that during lunch. So I have the pleasing honor to introduce the chairperson of the National Civil Society Water Sanitation and Hygiene Network, Mr. Augustine Myers. He will dictate their protocol as to how they do the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Myers.
Thank you, Prince. And let me stand on all existing protocols to say, firstly, the high table and distinguished personalities here. We are grateful to form part of these deliberations in the interest of Mama Liberia, and happy that at least, despite being placed at the bottom as usual, where CSOs are regarded as probably not too significant in most of the deliberations, but we now have the voice to speak out. Although we felt disappointed initially when these activities were being planned, the fact remains that the civil society has been the declares of all advocacy activities which has brought on board today the National WASH Commission. But no part of the existence of the Commission for the past 2-3 years has the CSO been considered as a significant factor for inclusion into activities of the WASH Commission. And I want to boldly say that we are not happy with the leadership of the WASH Commission. We said this comes without number to the CEO, and every time he tells us that we will see what we can do. We have some instances, he comes in and sometimes there are people who've been mandated to working with the CSOs, but not many times are the CSOs consulted to ensuring that their voices are heard in terms of making decisions in the interest of the WASH sector. We are happy today that we can be talking about improving water services delivery in Monrovia. Monrovia being Liberia's capital. And from all indications, when you listen to those that ever came up here, you find out that Monrovia is but one of the least in terms of service delivery. Let's take, for example, the LWSC. We think that the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, by all indications under this government, is so far the least. Sorry to say, my statement is harsh, but I think that was also said by the of Finance and Development Planning. The fact remains that what we are talking about, even water service, like the Honorable Representative of Monrovia, Thomas Farah said, that even in Monrovia, that there's serious challenge when it comes to access to safe drinking water. So it tells us that so much more needs to be done in ensuring that at least if we're talking about water access, that Monrovia being a capital should now form part of even the neighbor counties like River G, Maryland, Grand Crew. Because what difference does it make? We have all of our international partners here, and we learn that huge sums of money have been pumped into the sector through the LWSC, but there's no significant impact. Then it beats one's imagination to know what's actually happening when it comes to safe delivery of water access across Monrovia. The forum is great, and I think it's necessary, but like the Honorable CEO said, this is in commemoration of Water Action Month. And since the WASH Commission inception, or prior to the WASH Commission coming on board, where we have the WASH Secretariat, the CSOs were the guys that coordinated the activities of global celebrations. But since the commission came, we learned that the commission has hijacked the activities of the CSOs. That they want to do all. Even in organizing these activities like World Water Day, Global Hand Washing Day, World Toilet Day, the CSOs are only at the back and watching a commission that came on board with the regulatory mandate, now carrying on activities that CSOs should be carrying on, and we think that is unfair. Honorable CEO, that's very unfair. You stated that 2015, 16, even 17, we had global celebrations, and before that, we were being supported by international partners regarding all of these strategic celebrations globally. And the CSOs were the ones leading the process with the involvement of the WASH Secretariat, the government of Liberia, and all of the other partners. To now come on board the WASH Commission that we fought so hard, and now to see us being marginalized, I think it's a disservice. So we want you to have a rethink. For us, we don't mind sometimes when you try to disorganize or throw disunity amongst us. The initial planning process of this, we were not included. And one of our members in the chat room complained, and then he brought him on board without even consulting the leadership of the CSO. I think it's unfair. We cannot go directly to Prince Quibla, who the Director of Technical Affairs, and tell him we want to deal with the WASH Commission. We can't do that. So that should not be done with the WASH CSOs. We are an organized body. If you need our participation, you write us as a leadership, then we designate somebody if the leadership does not come. But handpicking somebody because you think that person will be easy to work with, that's unfair with us. We don't want you to encourage disunity. We're already crying from fragmentation within the sector. Do not create one within the CSOs. Please. So to continue with our discussions, we welcome the statement from the Finance Minister about the WASH sector review. I think it's almost 2 years now since we last had the joint WASH sector review in Grand Bassa County, Buchanan, BSI. And these are areas that we all seek to highlight our progress, challenges, and prospects for the WASH sector. So there's a need for all of us to come back to the drawing board. And again, Liberia, as old as we are, up to now still finding it difficult to be specific in our own data analysis regarding key issues. And I think there's a problem. We need to upgrade our data regarding on these issues: water, access level, sanitation, hygiene, and even nutrition. And I would even add the environment, impact of the environment regarding climate change. So there's so much more to be done. We are happy to form part of these deliberations. The WASH Commission has been very supportive when we call, but they've not been supportive in calling on us in their program activities. Through all the COVID-19, we were the ones calling on the commission, and in most cases, they were like handpicking some of us to follow them, leaving behind the leadership. And we think in order to move forward as a sector, every agency or sector actor must be considered as significant. Other than that, we'll be wasting our time. My colleagues are here for the benefit of our inter-wrangling and collaborative spirit. I would like to call on Timothy, who has been with them at least as a CSO person, to at least conclude on our recommendations and comments. Thank you very much.
Thanks to our chair for that remarks. And again, thanks to the commission, the LWSC, for recognizing civil society for their remarks. And again, we welcome the statement from the finance minister. And one thing that civil society taking very seriously is the issue of giving the results. And we can assure you, the commission and LWSC and the rest of the partners in the room. Today we are here because of civil society. Today you have lawmakers working in the room because of civil society. We coordinate the lawmakers' activities at the Capitol building. We went to them. We walk behind them in the communities, in their bedrooms. So we play a major role. So when you make use of the opportunity you have in the sector, we always get to where we want to get. So we want to promise the sector that we are ready, fully ready to support this sector to be one of the best in the world. We want to recommend to the Honorable Commissioner that whenever you are organizing these events, I mean, it hurt me a lot when the Honorable Commissioner and LWSC were in studio and we were not there. We were to tell the lawmakers, the president and whoever, that we need serious attention in this sector. Please, make sure that civil society is prioritized. Like even developing your banner, we don't have money. We bring this sector to where we are. Put our logos. Just write on your banner CSO so that the finance minister or whoever that coming can know that we are part of the process. We are going to be very strong, working with all of the actors. And we have requested that we will have a specific session with the finance minister. The finance minister needs more information from us. We will track whatever funding that is given to the sector and give the results. When finance minister put in 200,000 and that 200,000 benefiting 500,000 of people, I mean that result needs to be communicated. So it is not intended for the negative side, but whatever communication or whatever information we gather, we are going to make use of those information to promote the sector. When the COVID issue broke out in the whole world, Liberia, the WASH Commission declared the campaign. When the committee, the incident management system was organized for COVID-19, the WASH people was marginalized, even up to the point. We raised that issue at the Capitol building. We can be the first to encourage people to wash their hands, to launch the campaign. In fact, and you have a system seller, later over $6 million that were presented from our side. statistics. The wash people were not even able to receive 100,000. So you need to bring civil society to that table to help you communicate. Maybe when you do it, then they say, okay, that politics. But civil society, there's nothing in politics about us. We speak to